Hi, I'm Steve Marchena, and I'm taking this class, Language of Film and TV, at Berkeley Online. This week, we're talking about how silent film creates meaning visually and how the language of film took shape before sound introduced spoken dialogue. From 1903, we'll look at The Great Train Robbery, which is prototypical of the Western genre of film. And from 1922, we'll look at Nosferatu, which is a prototypical of the horror genre. One of the first differences, or the most obvious differences we notice about these films, is the depth of the story. And I think the use of film in general, a very early use, was this idea of studying things in slow motion that you couldn't study in real time with the naked eye. For example, filming horses running so we can find out if they have all of their feet off at the ground at any point, or recording somebody sneeze. By 1922, it was an established practice to use multiple reels for your film. So, again, you could get that depth of story and complexity of subject matter with a longer feature length film. Visually, one of the big differences between The Great Train Robbery and Nosferatu is the use of color. So they didn't really have color film yet. In The Great Train Robbery, this woman is dancing and her dress is colored yellow. What they actually would do would be hand paint the film after filming in order to add an effect like that. In Nosferatu, they approach this a little bit differently, where they're changing the entire. This reminds me of Instagram, where they're changing the entire color of the filter on the film from orangish yellow to purplish blue. Another change has to do with the moving camera. In The Great Train Robbery, there's a couple examples of the moving camera. There's filming on a moving train, for example. And also, we have the moving camera to follow the action of the train robbers. Most of the shots are the camera is stationary. Nosferatu has a great mise en scene. They'll have extreme close-ups where we didn't really have that in The Great Train Robbery of this meat-eating plant. It's pretty terrifying because it's a close-up and the detail of the fly. Thomas Hutter is running from Count Orlok's coffin. He trips and falls, and the camera moves in closer. Another technique that we see in Nosferatu is this idea that you could have somebody on screen looking, and then the audience doesn't know what they're looking at, and then we cut to another camera angle, and we see what they're looking at, and it's understood that these two things are connected when you see them in film. And we saw that in Nosferatu. We didn't really see that in Great Train Robbery, so I would consider that one of the advancements between 1903 and 1922. Another thing that is pretty cool in Nosferatu is the special effects. Although I think we saw this type of effect where you stop the camera, you change the scene, and then continue the film rolling. We saw stuff like this in Trip to the Moon, which was from 1902, but it obviously became a more common practice. We didn't see this type of an effect in Great Train Robbery, but here we see it again in Nosferatu. So this class is a lot of fun. We're looking at different silent films, and we're learning about the progress and advancement that these early filmmakers made.